early ranger during the King Philip's War, 1675 to 1676. Dalyell, Captain James, in command of the British force dispatched to relieve the besieged Fort Detroit during Pontiac's War. He died in the Battle of Bloody Run. Gisco, Maréchal du Camp Jean-Armand Baron de, Swiss-born mercenary French commander who was defeated and captured by William Johnson's forces at Lake George in 1755. Dobbs Arthur, governor of colonial North Carolina, 1754 to 1765, he had spent decades supporting the quest for the Northwest Passage and aroused Rogers's interest in the venture. Dumas, Major General Jean Daniel, led a mixed French-Canadian and Abenaki force against Rogers's Saint-François expedition on their return. Durantaye, Ensign Sieur de la, of the Compagnie Franche de la Marine, he joined with Longuy to deliver one of Rogers's most bitter defeats. Gage, Thomas, largely ineffective as a senior officer at two of the largest British military disasters, Braddock's defeat and Abercrombie's disastrous assault on Carillon. He raised a regiment of regulars to replace the Rangers. A sworn enemy of Rogers, he pressed hard for Rogers's court-martial, became head of British North American forces 1768 to 1775 after Amherst, quod vitae. George III, King of Great Britain, 1760 to 1820. Gilles, Joseph Louis, or Magau Idomba Awit, a principal chief of Saint-François, who was away when Rogers' Rangers destroyed his village and took his wife and two sons prisoner. Gladwin, Major Henry, commander of Fort Detroit after the French and Indian War, he discovered Pontiac's plans to take the fort by surprise, then weathered a long siege. Hale, Nathaniel, young schoolteacher turned Revolutionary War spy, he was caught and brought to confess by Rogers. Haviland, William, British colonel in the 27th Foot, he was a strong opponent of irregular forces. As commander of Fort Edward, his decisions to cut Rogers's unit helped lead to one of the Rangers' worst defeats at the Battle on Snowshoes. Henry, Alexander, only the second British trader licensed to trade furs in the Great Lakes, narrowly escaped death during Pontiac's attack on Fort Michilimackinac, of which he survived to write a history. Hopkins, Joseph, a turncoat colonial officer in the French service, he allegedly wrote a letter, almost certainly a piece of French intelligence troublemaking, that cast treasonous aspersions on Rogers's character and resulted in Rogers's court-martial. Howe, Brigadier General George Augustus, Viscount, British officer and early adopter of Ranger practices, he became a close friend of Rogers's and was killed during the attack on Carillon in 1758. His brother William replaced Gage, quod vitae, as commander-in-chief in North America in 1775. Johnson, Sir William, frontier agent among the Iroquois, he defeated and captured Gisco, quod vitae, at the Battle of Lake George, 1755. Later, as superintendent of Indian affairs, he became a rival of Rogers, conspiring with Gage, quod vitae, to ruin Rogers in the Hopkins, quod vitae, affair. Longuy, Jean-Baptiste Levrol de, or Longuy, a formidable French partisan fighter who often matched wits with Rogers in fierce skirmishes in the woods. Longlade, Charles-Michel Mouet de, a Métis, half Indian and half French, he fought Rogers at the Battle on Snowshoes and other encounters. Longuy, Charles Lemoine.